Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another session of the Tech Talk. Today, we have a very special guest with us today, and she is Virali Vora. She is one of the most prolific coders in our college. She's the one who started the culture, almost you can say. That is very evident from the fact that she is the person who has done the most competitions on Codeforces. That is 150. I think you should realize how big that number is. She is a 3 times ICPC regionalist, and she is currently a software development engineer at Google. I will let her talk more about her achievements and we'll get right into it. How are you, Virali?
Thank you so much for an overwhelming welcome. It is indeed a pleasure to have this tech talk with you people and share my journey. So I'm really excited for this tech talk, and let's go ahead. Yep.
Right, right. So, Google. Google is such a big name. It's almost everybody's dream company. How does it feel like to be called a Google engineer? And could you imagine when you were little that this is where you'll end up?
It feels really, really awesome to be a Google engineer. I have never imagined in my wildest dream that I would one day land up here. It basically I tried my luck and it turned out in my favor. So I'm really, really very proud of where I am today because it feels like I have come a very long way in my journey. And being a Googler, it gives me a feeling that people do identify me as a girl from a Googler. So yeah, it does make me feel proud that I am known for my work, but at the same time, it limits my identity to being just a girl from a Googler. So
Right.
it has its. I do feel proud, but yeah, it does has its uh, cons as well.
I think that's a very interesting thing because a lot of us won't imagine that there are two sides of the coin, even to being a Googler. Like you're in Google, but you're a person from Google. So it becomes kind of a very interesting paradox. So that's a very interesting point I think you've raised. Um, Apart from that, what, was this what you wanted to do from the start, or what motivated you to do this work?
So to be honest, like when I joined my when I just came to college, I never knew that there's a chance to get into Google as well. Like after completing my 4 years of BTech, I would that there is a software developer role at Google as like I was completely new to it. So I remember during my initial years, during my first years, around the month of September, a few of my seniors like Nilanjana and all, they came to our class and they introduced to this code chef. And I found that name quite interesting. So I went back and then explored the site and found that there were a huge dozens of problems there. So I started solving them. And before that, because I had my computer science in my class 11 and 12, so I had a prior knowledge to C++. So I started solving problems, and gradually it was more like a fun to me. Like I never knew that solving these problems has a much national and international impact. It is
Right.
played at a very international level. So gradually, I remember gradually I realized that me and Ankit had similar kind of interests. Like we enjoyed problem solving, so we together started solving problems and like participating in many long challenges together, and then discussing how we approach the problem was, I think, a plus point to how we started this journey.
Right, right. Okay, so like you talked about Code Forces and Code Chef. So were these the only resources that you used, or were there some other resources as well? And how rigorous would you say was your practice? Because a lot of us are not very aware of how much we should practice to get at some particular level. So in the initial days, or even after that, how regular were you, and how long would you practice for?
So initially, I just practiced like randomly, like I didn't take it seriously. But then gradually, I realized that there are three types of three monthly contests in Code Chef. So, and one thing I would like to point out that like having an environment where people code together is super important because it feels like you are uh, it feels like you can challenge yourself. And there's this
Right.
trading kind of thing in Coach Chef where knowingly or unknowingly you feel like you need to cross this level. You need to jump to the next level. So I guess that having an environment where you can compete with your friends is one of the most important things, because otherwise you feel like you are the only one in this field. You are the only champion. So
Right.
just to make you feel uncomfortable, like there's that you are not the only one. There are people around you who are better than you. I feel community is damn necessary. So
Okay.
I remember we started practicing together in long challenges, and then uh, we were so interested in participating in that during the I remember during the classes we used to discuss together like how we uh, uh, approach the problem instead of paying attention to the class, and then
Right.
yeah, and then gradually it all went like we realized that it started growing, and then we took part in various international inter-college competitions as well. And then we realized that there is this ICPC kind of a thing which is done at a both national and international level. We had no knowledge about it, like what it is, so we decided to take part in it. And uh, it was like we registered, and then it was around the month of I guess November, where we took part in the online competition. And there's if, for the audience who doesn't know, like if you get selected and if you are top performers among your college, then you do get to participate in the regionals. So we were in our second year when we participated in our first contest. And I remember it was a 3 hour contest, and we solved our first problem in just 15 minutes. It was a very simple problem. And the next 3 hours, we spent the entire next 3 hours in solving the second problem, which we didn't figure out. But ultimately, when we were asked a bonus of, when we were told a bonus of 15 minutes, we were given a bonus of 15 minutes. Luckily, we were able to solve that problem in that 15 minutes. And
Wow.
then we were selected for the Amritapuri regionals. So that was how the things started changing for us.
Right. So I think it must have felt wonderful. I think it's a very interesting thing. Let me just elaborate that you solve the first question in 15 minutes, and then for the rest of the 3 hours you're not able to solve it, and you're just able to solve it because you had the extra time. So it's rather a very
Yeah.
amazing experience. I think that anybody can pick up from that. You just have to keep trying, no matter how weird you think the odds are. And after you cleared it and after you reached Amritapuri, would you like to tell us about the opportunities that you saw there? Did something happen for you over there? Did you run into somebody and, they gave you another opportunity that you could explore further?
So I would say that those 15 minutes, I do still remember those 15 minutes were the most important thing, because that 15 minutes changed the entire course of our journey. And because of that, it started a lot of opportunities came to us. So when we went to the Amrita regionals, it was the end of December, and I remember we participated in the this on-site contest, and we solved around 3 problems there. So in that case, also the third problem, after realizing that the third problem was so simple, it did really feel shit, like we could have done this before. Like that third problem was damn easy. And then after discussing, and so there were around I think around 250 participants who came to that regional. So after discussing with the people from a lot of the colleges, we got to know that people from our level, like from our year, could perform better than us. So on discussing with them, we figured out that it was because they had started doing that in their initial years, like in their first years or so, or even before that. So I remember then discussing that with Ankit, that like we that after going back, we should definitely start a session with our juniors where we can discuss with them. So in that way, it would be a two-way learning. Like if we teach them, then we do have to go back and go through the various articles, because if I am teaching you, then I should be very much aware, because you can ask me any kind of questions, right? So I
Absolutely.
should be very much aware about what your like what I'm teaching about. So we thought that this would be a perfect way in which we could learn as well as teach our juniors, so that they do not face that they do not regret when they come in their second year that should we could have started in our first year.
Right, right. So,
Yeah.
what was like? I've heard about this boot camp that you went to, that you could get the opportunity for at the ICPC regionalists. So, would you like to tell us a little bit about that? Like, what happened there?
So yeah, when we went for the Amrita regionals in our the first time during our second year, so there were many sponsors, and this was this boot camp sponsors from Russia. So as you know, Russians are talented coders. So they had organized this boot camp for the Indian participants. So uh, I guess we weren't that interested because the amount to register was 45,000 per person, and we were three, so it would be around 1,35,000 for all three of us. So we didn't
Oh,
think much about it, but then after going back to college, we thought of giving it a try and share this with our director that what why not give it a try. And since we thought, I don't know, we had this feeling like we wanted someone from our college to have this uh, gold going to the World Cup, and we even created
right.
a WhatsApp group naming Mission Gold for India.
Wow.
So we were that enthusiastic about this thing. So I guess we went back to the director and we discussed about this opportunity, and I mean, I should be damn proud that our director was convinced, and he, with the help of the alumni, we and the alumni supported us a lot. So with the help of the alumni, there were three of the alumni. So I remember Parthu Mazumdar, he was there as an alumni who sponsored us, sponsored all three of us for the entire trip. And then
Wow.
we, at the end of March, we went for an 8 day boot camp. So sponsoring us gave us this immense responsibility that while attending the boot camp, after coming back, we would share whatever we have learned to our juniors. We would dedicate as much amount of time as we can, because it was a huge responsibility given to us. Like having sponsoring such huge amount in our second
That's
year was,
amazing.
I think, a very good was a very proud moment, because I remember when we went back, when we attended the boot camp, people around there were asking, like when we shared that we were sponsored by college, people were shocked to know that, because this is not something very usual. So they were like, you people have a very awesome college there.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So, okay, that's a very interesting observation, that having to, having got that money and that opportunity that the director provided for you to go there and then learn stuff, you found it your responsibility to come back and teach over here. So that's really amazing. And at this point, I guess you had become prolific coders and you were on the path you thought for absolute success. But then all these nice things were happening, and did some setbacks also come, like, as you progressed in your college journey? Was it always just a merry-go-round ride, or like, it was a roller coaster? Were there some challenges or some disappointments or something that really brought you down? Would you like to say something about that?
It was definitely a roller coaster ride. There were points where I was stuck at the same place for months, for weeks, and I felt like giving up. So I would like to share, like when I went to the boot camp, there were the sponsors again, the Samsung sponsors. So and they figured out that there was this leaderboard kind of a thing where after 8 day boot camp, you have to absorb the problems. And guess we absorbed a lot of problems, and we were in the top positions. And luckily, this is how we got an opportunity in our second year to intern at Samsung R&D.
Right, right.
So I guess that was also a major turning point, because you don't generally get an opportunity to intern in your second years.
Definitely.
So, like after, and since we were in a second years, we didn't have any knowledge about anything. So the internship was more kind of a learning experience. And then after coming back, I remember the next day we had a Microsoft interview.
Right, right.
So I guess I was overconfident on that day, and
Okay.
I thought that that would be damn easy for me to crack. So I went there, and the first problem I saw, tried solving it, and I don't know what happened. I couldn't solve. So when you feel that you're damn overconfident and you can't solve the first problem, everything falls down. So even
Right.
if so you
Absolutely.
so even if that problem is damn simple, if you give a second thought to it, you would be able to solve it. But and when the first problem itself you're not able to solve, I think that's the most disheartening thing you can have ever have. I wouldn't say that the questions were difficult, but yeah, uh, I did feel nervous at that point of time, and I wasn't able to crack the interview at that time. So it did have a major impact on me, like because I thought I would be able to do so, but didn't do that. So after that, we had our coordination, and then after that, around a few weeks after we had our coordination interview, where I decided that I wouldn't be overconfident this time, and I'll try to solve it. So I was able to clear the first round, but then in the second round again, I messed up and was not able to clear that round as well. So things
Okay.
were not falling in place, and like then I then went back to my coding platforms and started practicing again. I thought that there's something which is missing, which that's the reason which I'm not able to crack any interviews. And I figured out that if and there was this kind of a feeling when that if you have an internship in the second year and you don't have an internship in your third year, it's it feels like then you just got an internship in your second just because of luck.
Oh.
So
Okay.
it gave me that kind of a feeling that now since don't have any opportunity, I somehow have to get an internship in my third year. So I guess I practiced a lot, and then I searched for various sites and various companies which could give internship. And yeah, and by that time we were parallelly what to say uh, creating questions for our juniors. Like we used to have this monthly contest around so for our juniors on every different topic. So we had our hands on creating problems, creating test cases, and all. So I realized that there's this platform known as HackerRank, which where you can create problems and you get paid for that. So I started creating problems, and then it was around the month of November. So I thought of why not asking them for an internship as well. So
Wow.
I did ask for an internship and then had this 2 rounds, and luckily I was offered an internship there for a winter internship there. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Right. So, I mean, everybody should notice that Viralidi failed the first two interviews that she gave. That was Microsoft and Code Nation, being one of the most, um, let's say, prolific candidates in terms of coding. So it was like a very big blow for her. And after that, she decided to explore whatever options she had left. And with that, she started setting problems for juniors, discussing with her peers. And finally, she stumbled upon HackerRank and ultimately landed up in an internship. So things worked out that way. So I think this is something everybody should take back, that you can always find new ways if some doors are closed. All of us know the gyan, but like the way Viralidi did it, I think gives us a real life example. So now considering Viralidi that let's talk about your fourth year. You personally, I know, have cleared some very, very steep interviews, some interviews that are considered very difficult to crack. So how was that experience for you in fourth year, clearing all those interviews? First, how did you reach that point when from third year you were not able to crack those interviews, and in fourth year you were able to crack the best of them? So how did you reach that point, and then how was that experience for you?
So having an internship at HackerRank, it gave me some kind of a confidence. Like, yeah, I can crack some of the interviews because now I felt that I have an internship. So I spent my entire fourth year in solving the problems. Like, I meant by solving problems like participating in almost every contest, not leaving even a single contest. And I do remember there's this one thing in Code Chef. Like, if when I was in my second year or something, that if you participate regularly for a year or so, you get some kind of a laddus there. So laddus is kind of a thing. Laddus are basically virtual points which you get from which you can buy any goodies.
Okay, okay.
So I do
Right.
remember. So I decided that why not try every contest uh, and have this kind of a benefit. So I did participate, and no matter in where I was, I decided to go back to my place. If it was 9:30, I would go back to my place and start solving problems because that contest had already started. So I would made a point of not missing any contest. But then I think it was 1 month left, and I did miss one contest. I didn't miss, like I was not able to solve it. So you had to solve at least one problem with there. So just
Okay.
attending the contest was not the thing. You had to solve at least one problem. So so I had completed all my 11 months, and in the last month, I did screw up, and yeah, so I
Oh.
did lost the opportunity there. So when like so the entire 4th year was spent in just solving the problems and practicing in various platforms. And luckily, there was this contest on HackerRack where I, Ankit, and Arijit from the 4th year, we participated in a contest which was organized by Barclays. So we were not sure about it. Was the first round was mainly a coding contest. So we were not sure that the second round or the further rounds would be on development because we had no knowledge on that. Like I personally didn't have any knowledge. So on clearing the first round, we got a call that we are selected for the on-site, which was held in Pune, and it was a hackathon. I guess it was a 12-hour continuous hackathon. So we had to spend the entire night building uh, a software, building a. I do not remember exactly what the problem statement was, but it was mostly on Django. So we
Hmm.
had created a software there, and we stood second, and were offered opportunity and were offered PPOs and PPIs over there. So that kind of gave us a backup plan that if there's not some that we are not jobless.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, given this PPO in your hand, you sat for various placements in the college, that being Deutsche Bank, then other companies like, I should not maybe say this, but Media.net, and then you came across the Google referral. So tell us about that. Like, how did that work out, and what was that experience like?
So there was this thing like now since I have an offer from Barclays, so I had to choose between like sitting in the campus for placements or choosing Barclays. So I had to make this decision. Like if I select Barclays, then I wouldn't be able to sit for the college placements. So
Okay.
I then decided to drop off Barclays and then move on to the college placements. So again, in
Right.
the college placements, like many companies came, so I decided to go for Deutsche Bank because again there was uh, uh, as you can say, a family pressure sort of thing where I had to have a backup plan for so that there's something which I can fall on.
Definitely.
I cannot say that yeah I'll be in the topmost companies because currently I have nothing in my hand right now. So I decided to go for Deutsche Bank and I got a PPO over there. So yeah, this thing happened like since Deutsche Bank is a grade C company, and just after receiving the offer, after I think around 2 to 3 days after, we got a notice that Media.net is coming to our campus. And since I received an offer for Deutsche Bank, I was not allowed to sit for the Media.net because both of them are of C grade companies.
Right.
So I then managed to give an online test for Media.net, and all the entire process went offline after that.
Okay. Okay.
So and meanwhile, I was having a referral from Google as well. So all these things were happening parallelly. I remember I received a message from my batchmate Saurav Mandal that uh, there's this person from Google, Sanchit Gupta, who's like if you can contact him if you need any referrals for Google. So I said, why not give it a try? So I did contact him, and went through my CodeChef and like various profiles, and then he was quite impressed. But to be really sure of that, I am eligible, like I that he can trust on me, and then I'll be eligible to crack the interview. I had to give him daily updates on how much I solved the problem. Like I had to set some targets, like easy, medium, and hard, and that many problems I had to solve and give him daily updates.
Okay. Okay.
So after which I received a referral around the month of September or so from him. And yeah, so there was this Deutsche Bank interview going on parallelly, the telephonic rounds of Google, and side by side, I just gave the online test for the Media.net. So then in the month of October or so, I went for the on-sites where we had 5 rounds. The first 4 were data structures and algo, and the fifth was mainly a Googliness round. So the on-site was a little tricky for me. Like the problem given to me, I found it a little difficult, but somehow the solution struck me and I was able to solve that problem. And after around 2 to 3 weeks or so, I was told that I am selected for I was given the offer.
In Google.
Yeah, in Google.
Right. Right.
So, and meanwhile, there were interviews going around for this offline interviews going around for Media.net as well. So I remember I had received an offer from Google, and then I some final round or so was left for Media.net, and which was on mainly on system design. So so there were basically 3 rounds on for the interviews of Media.net. 2 were on data structures and algo, and third round was on system design. So after clearing the round, I finally received an offer from Media.net as well.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, like you mentioned about how the rounds were in Google, there were some data structures rounds, then some design rounds. So, what is it that you would suggest? Like, when can one start preparing for them, and how can one start preparing apart from like the competitive coding that somebody does? What are the other ways to prepare for interviews like this?
I feel like when you are in your college years, clearing any clearing any interview, competitive coding is damn necessary because that's the, I think, first few rounds which you have to give for cracking any interview. I guess
Okay.
you people must have noticed that in any company you sit, the first few rounds are on data structures and algorithms, and then you have various CS subjects like operating system, OS, data, DBMS, and then system design rounds.
Right.
So I feel that even if you people haven't started, there are many examples which I have seen where people have started quite late, like in my batches as well, but they have been able to crack super awesome companies.
Right. Okay.
So I don't think that if you people have started late, then you people should regret that why I should have started now. Do not have anything and all. But instead, you people should start utilizing that whatever time is left in your hand and start utilizing that and start solving as many problems as you can. And more importantly, and try to have that community where you people can discuss what's going on.
Okay. Okay.
Try to keep each other updated, like yeah, hey, there's this contest going on, so let's participate together. Or so in that way, you people will help. I guess helping each other will, directly or indirectly, will definitely help your. I mean, help in achieving what you wanted.
Okay. Okay. So, like, you mentioned about having a community and solving as many problems as we can in the time left. Is there any place for projects? Like, what is your take on projects? Like, can someone spend time on them? How much time can someone spend? What are the things someone can explore? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that definitely I want to speak about. Like after joining Google, I do realize that I could have spent some amount of time in doing software development because that's not how because people around, I think that this is what is going viral, and this is what people think, that doing competitive coding is the only way in which you can crack any interviews. It's the
Right, right.
easiest way, but it's not the only way.
Okay, that's interesting.
So I guess if you need to have a above average knowledge on on data structures and algorithm to crack the interview. I'm not saying that you need to be supremely talented or have this much amount of rating in courses or courtship. You need to have a decent knowledge and above average knowledge on data structures and algorithm. And parallelly, if having any, if you people are interested in any other fields like machine learning or software development, having knowledge in that could also work in your favor.
Right, right. So, okay, we have a lot of information about how we can go about things, and I think everybody can explore the options as per their interests. So, I think let's talk about how life at Google is now. Like, what do you feel when you go and work there, or like we can't go right now given the lockdown? How is it to be a Google employee? Like, we know the aspect of how it feels to be called a Google employee, but how is it to be a Google employee? Tell us a little bit about that. What is Google like inside, from the inside?
It's damn amazing. Like every day you feel like there's something new which you have to learn. Like even after one and around 2 months after joining Google, I still feel that there's something much more than what I have known yesterday. You get to learn new things every day, and I guess communication is damn necessary in Google. So there's this awesome thing where if you're stuck anywhere, you can randomly pick any person who's excellent in that area or topic, and you do not need to know that person personally. You can just ping him that, hey, this is where I'm stuck in. If you're free, can we have a one-to-one session, or can we have a discussion on that? And this is the best thing, where people are damn helpful in in making you feel comfortable over there.
Right, right. That's really nice. That's really nice.
And one more thing I would like to point out is that uh, feeling having this imposter syndrome, where you feel like you are feeling uh, you got this offer or you got this job just because of your luck and not because of your uh, uh, hard work or something like that, is very obvious after you join, because you feel that as you know, in Google there are extremely talented people. So when you join, you uh, it's very obvious that you're not among the top performers,
Hmm.
because people
Absolutely.
around you are having much better experience than you. They have very much knowledge about you. So having this feeling is quite obvious. So I do feel that it's okay to feel that, and just gradually come out of the zone by, don't feel disheartened. And I think eventually things will fall into place.
Right. I think that point, the imposter syndrome is something that a lot of us feel even in college sometimes. I know I have personally felt that, and like obviously in a place as big as Google, you're liable to succumb to those feelings sometime or the other. So I think that's a very sweet thing you said right now, and a lot of us can feel a little better with that. So like Viralidi, I know your journey personally is something that you've tried to use to help the girls around you, and you've actually tried to make them aware in our college especially of the opportunities that there are for female candidates, that they don't have to be the best, and they can just try at least and not have the certain complex that normally girls would have. Would you like to talk about how that has been for you, like that experience?
So I would like to mention that during my end of my fourth year, I and Diksha personally, we had this sessions where we could specifically train girls, because I remember our juniors were training, like our third or second years were training their first year. So when asked about them, that we realized that the ratio among the boys and girls was very less. Like hardly one or two girls attended the session. So we thought of why not having a specific session for the girls.
Right.
So we decided to organize sessions, and unfortunately, it didn't turn up well. Like, we didn't receive much response from that side, and and that's the major drawback which I feel right now. Like, I'm still not able to figure out why is there such kind of a difference when like we had this kind of session, and then I remember if one day few people came, then the second day they were not the same people. It kept on rotating.
Hmm.
So even after explaining that there are specific opportunities for girls, and there's this women in tech campaign going around everywhere where girls are supported to join this, that girls are welcomed, and they're given us a special criteria where they can join this tech companies. I feel that if even if they work a little bit harder, they'll have a good chance in landing in very good companies.
Okay. Okay. So, what do you think is the situation of girls in when they are already in companies or even getting there? Is it actually harder for them, or like you said, there are many opportunities, but why is it that girls are, not going for it as much as you are saying?
That's what I said. I am not able to still figure out what's the reason behind it, because I feel
Okay.
like people have given JEE Mains, JEE Advanced together. They have the same level of knowledge. So after coming to knowledge, why there's this difference? And I do not know. I'm not still able to figure out that reason, that why there's so much huge difference. Like, even after giving the same entrance exam, you're in your first 4 years of college. So why there's such huge jump uh, in this, specifically in this coding field?
Right, right. So I think all the girls out there who are listening to this should really make note of this, that there are many opportunities for girls specifically as well. Like Viralidi mentioned, women in tech. Uh, you should explore those opportunities and don't shy away from it for whatever reasons that we are not able to understand at the moment. So I think Viralidi herself would be very proud of you if you do that, and obviously everybody else would too. Um, I think let us come to the point where we start talking about what your takeaways are from your journey. Obviously, it's been a very tumultuous one. It's been very happening. A lot of things have gone up, have gone down. So, apart from the technical knowledge that you've gained, what is it that you would call your main learning in this whole process?
So one thing I would like to say is, if there is something which you want definitely, which you want very badly, like there's this thing which keeps you wanting every day. Like, I want this thing, then I think you should never ever give up on that. You should never ever give up on something which keeps you, without which you cannot think, without which thinking about which you cannot go a single day.
Right, right,
So I guess that no matter what, no matter how much of efforts it needs to be given, because after that, because this is the time when you can do as much as you want. Because then after, if you don't do at this time, there's only one option left for you, which is regret. So to avoid that thing, no matter how much efforts you require, just put what you want in one side and the rest of the things on the other side, and just go ahead for that.
okay. I think that's really brilliant advice. And that particular line that you said, you never give up on something that you cannot go a day without thinking about. So I think that's a very, did I say it correctly?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think that's a very strong thing that everybody can take back, that you should never give up on something that you can't go a day without thinking about. So with that, Viralidi, I would finally ask you for your final advice for juniors, and what are your final words of wisdom for us?
This is one thing which I've learned in my 4 years of college, that do not save anything for the last moment. Never
Okay.
ever save anything last for the last moment. This I remember I had some plans during my last months of college, which couldn't happen because of the COVID situation. So that's what I would like to say, that do not ever save anything for the last moment. just do whatever you have at the current moment, because you never know what's going to be there in your future.
Right. I think that's beautiful. All of us should try and follow that we should not leave anything that we can do at the moment for the last moment. So it's been really great having you here, Viralidi. I think we've learned a lot. And if anybody can follow even half the things you've said, I think it'll be a very great outcome for them. So I would like to thank you again. And anything else you would like
Yeah,
to say?
just before ending, I would like to say that we did touch competitive coding field, but that doesn't mean that that's the only thing. There are many huge fields, software development, machine learning, which still needs to be developed in our college, and it's up to our juniors now how to go about these fields. Like I would uh, encourage them to go and develop these fields now, so that
Right.
there is so that so that any engineer which comes out of a college have a knowledge in all the fields which is damn necessary.
Okay, I think that's a very brilliant and a very hard project for us and our juniors and our immediate seniors as well to, inculcate in our college, and we sure would make the best effort that we can. So, with that, Viralidi, it's been really nice having you. I would like to say that again. With that, I would like to say goodbye and see you soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, bye.
Bye bye.